The Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, is set to present the Union Budget 23-24 on February 1st. To foster the spirit of Bhagidari, the Department of Economic Affairs, like every year, invited suggestions from citizens to contribute to the budget-making process. The government received over 8,000 suggestions from the citizens of India. Let's go across to my colleague Karishma Asoodani on what tops that list.
So what we're latest, of course, picking up the budget wish list is on personal income tax. It goes without saying that taxpayers, and especially the salaried employees, want the exemption limit to be increased to 5 lakh per annum, and this exemption to be, of course, taxed at 0% for both old and the alternative tax regime. Second, they also want to increase the deductions that have been listed by the Government of India under the ATC and ATCCD for, of course, tax exemptions for the citizens to file. They also want tax incentives for people who are using UPI or digital banking, and to increase tax benefits and investment options for senior citizens. Now, what's interesting, and it's also coming by, is that citizens have actually put in a request to get some kind of tax incentives for work from home. Now, this has been a persistent request that they've made since the onset of pandemic, because consumers are of the opinion that a lot of resources now are being used from their personal income, be it the electricity or the home infrastructure, and they'd want to be reimbursed on this from the government. Interestingly, most of them have also requested the Government of India to monitor the online gaming companies and to set up an enforcement wing, which will also help the government in keeping a track of the invoicing, GST and any other kind of tax evasion. Now, very interestingly, they've also requested the government to increase the cess or tax on tobacco and alcohol. As we know, there's a 28% GST that comes under the indirect tax regime. While this may, of course, not be considered keenly for budget, but it's a suggestion that government could take in for their upcoming GST Council meetings. Now, they'd also want a separate consumer grievance to be introduced by the Government of India for employees who are not being paid their salaries. Last but not the least, citizens of India and, of course, taxpayers want the government to increase the tax on cryptocurrency. Let's not forget iconic decision last budget when government had imposed a 30% tax on virtual digital assets. The employees want that to be increased. The taxpayers want extra incentives for health, education sector, and they also want the government to increase on their investment return in terms of better interest rates for fixed deposits, for savings accounts, and also for the different investment schemes that they have invested in.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.